Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Crypto Entrepreneurs Podcast with your host, Charles. Enjoy.
Today we've got a good one for you, but before we get into it, just a quick word from our sponsors, DueDex. So DueDex is a new cryptocurrency derivatives trading platform that aims to provide a fair and professional experience for its users. With third-party market makers and no exchange token or internal trading desks, DueDex creates transparency and puts the customers first. A couple of the features on DueDex include 100x leverage trading, perpetual swaps without expiry date and daily settlement, 100,000 TPS per contract, and most importantly, no KYC. That's right, every crypto trader's favorite words, no KYC. Sign up with the link in the description below to start trading today and receive up to $100 in free Bitcoin when you make your first deposit. Happy trading, guys. All right, now let's get to the... What's up, everybody? It's Charles, and this is episode 46 of the Crypto Entrepreneurs Podcast. Today I'm going to be sitting down with Bo. He's the CEO and founder of DueDex. And as you guys probably know, if you heard the last episode or have seen me on Twitter, DueDex is now sponsoring the podcast, so my incessant bitching and moaning about not having a sponsor has finally landed me one. But I just want you to know that this episode was recorded before that, and I said, hey, come on, let's talk, and if I like what you guys are doing, we can move forward with a partnership, and I'll allow you guys to sponsor the episode. And clearly, I loved what they had to say. They've got a bunch of new features that they're rolling out that I don't see on many other exchanges. I really like the team, the integrity behind the team. But let me not get into it too much. Let's talk to Bo, and you'll hear why I decided to take them on as a sponsor. So before we really jump into things and talk about the exchange, do you think you could just give us a little background on yourself and what you're doing? Kind of give us your resume, just because, you know, I want people to feel comfortable with moving over to your exchange if they do make that move. It's a lot of work. I've had a couple other founders of exchanges on. So can you just walk us through, your resume?
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me on. So DueDex is a crypto derivative exchange. DueDex means like a due plus derivatives plus exchange. So you DueDex. So due for us means like appropriate and fair. So from the get-go, we really want to make DueDex as a fair exchange. As you know, like there are a lot of issues with current exchange right now. It's like first and foremost, maybe it's like for example, BitMEX has a lot of like overloading issue, like downtime stuff, and more importantly, they actually benefit from like other people's downtime and overloading because like a lot of people saying and they have like an internal trading desk or whatever. So for us, it's like when we do DEX, do DEX, and first thing we said, okay, we have to be fair to everybody, to our customer. By being fair, we really mean that it's like, first of all, we are not going to have an internal trading desk. Because we know that everybody is in information. If we trade, then everybody else would be in the bad positions, right? So number two, we will not offer a exchange token, because if you have a token, then it will subject to manipulation. So it's another layer of like conflict of interest, and which we don't want to get into. So number three is we really want to make sure that DueDex is a secure platform. It's end-to-end secure. What we mean is that when people deposit the Bitcoins into DueDex, they are deposited into a cold wallet address, not a hot wallet. So we're not using hot wallet in any time. So it's an end-to-end cold wallet. So it's unlike any other exchange. They usually allow people to deposit into hot wallet, then the moves from hard wallet to cold wallet, and they maintain certain percentage of the assets in the hard wallet. That means they expose users' fund on the internet, and it's always dangerous to us. So we want to make sure that we are good on the security side, and it's gonna be end-to-end cold wallet solution for us. Also, exchange is like when you have a lot of customer and you have like a 24/7 service, and we really want our customers to be able to find us whenever and wherever. So we provide 24/7 customer service with multilingual, multi-channel support. That's one thing. That's like we are saying, okay, DueDex, we're trying to be fair. That's what we mean about fair. On the other hand, we're trying to be open. In the traditional financial system, financial world, it's a very segregated. It's a closed system, and it's not accessible for a lot of people. For example, in the emerging market, for example, South Africa, if the stock market is booming, and for example, I'm from Hong Kong, or I want to trade the stock markets, of even indices, futures, for example, it's going to be very difficult to open an account, or you will have to deal with foreign exchange restrictions, all kinds of stuff. So cryptocurrency provides a perfect solution to tear down this kind of national boundary, to allow anyone can trade anything from anywhere. So that's kind of thing we trying to do. So we want to leverage this kind of unique features of Bitcoins or stablecoins in that sense, and to allow people to do a lot of trading. So totally open up this kind of financial market to most people who wants to trade. So this kind of liberalization is something we really want to do. So say being open and being fair, it's one of the things two things we're trying to achieve. So that's what we are saying. Okay, so we intend to make DueDex as an open financial system, and then empower people to access and trade the best financial assets whenever and whatever. So, and that's kind of what we think of DueDex should be.
I mean, so it sounds like you've got a lot of different things. You're bringing this fresh perspective to the market. You talked about how you guys aren't going to have that internal trading desk, and there's going to be no exchange token. So it kind of takes you out of the equation and leaves the exchange for people who want to trade. And then you talked about, kind of breaking down the walls and the boundaries of different countries, which is what crypto does perfectly well. Lastly, or a couple other things you talked about, or the fact that you've got this very secure platform. Anyone who comes onto the site deposits to their cold wallet, and then you've got this 24-hour service, which has kind of become the standard. So I appreciate you giving us an overview of the exchange and what you guys are kind of working on. Do you think you could give us some background just on yourself, who you are as a person, and talk about your qualifications for creating this exchange?
Absolutely. I don't know. I give you my kind of like a summary of my resume. So I did my graduate study in University of Michigan at Ann Arbor, and then I went to work for a big tech firm in Boston for a few years, and then I went back to Beijing to start a couple of companies, and one of them I sold one of them to a public company, and then kind of get a successful exit. Then I came back to move to Austin when looking for new ideas for next startup. So one of my friends told me say he's very into Bitcoin. That's 2013. So he was all in Bitcoin when Bitcoin's price is at $10. So when he told me this news, basically it's the price is at $500. I was kind of suspective about this. So I bought one Bitcoin at $500. 1 week after, it's $600. I sold them. That's for real. It's not something it's I feel like it's impossible to issue money on the internet, and Bitcoin actually is like it solves some real problems. So I went back and did a lot of research. So become a true believer, so I feel like, okay, this is something we can work on for next startup. And so we start to talk with friends, and then we were asking questions like, okay, Bitcoin is this, and it's expensive now, so it can't be. So what's the next Bitcoin? What is the next Bitcoin? So at that point, it's more like a Web 2.0. It's a programmable web. So it's very easy to think of like the next Bitcoin could be a programmable cash, Bitcoin or something. So we start looking around. There are so many projects at that time. You can say like a Mars token, Mastercoin. You have Counterpart. You have BitShares. You have like Ethereum. It's a kind of new. It's like so when we found this Ethereum and with smart contract stuff, we were like, wow, this is something could be next big thing. So we did two things. One is we invest in Ethereum when it's available. Number two, it's like we did a startup trying to do like proof of existence. That's called, we call it Factum. I don't know if you know it. Like in 2014, we did a Factum, and it's public blockchain. And actually, when our white paper is released, Vitalik is one of the reviewer, and we actually work closely with those guys, and we modeled almost everything after Ethereum. For example, like they released, Ethereum was released in January 2014 in Miami Bitcoin conference. We released Factum in January Miami conference in 2015. We hired their like same legal firm, incorporated in the same place with similar advisors and doing similar like ISO all kind of stuff. So the only difference is in March 2015 the price of Bitcoin is in the toilet. So we. But Ethereum raised like $17 million, but we only raised like 500 Bitcoins. So yeah, that's a huge difference. And then we were forced to switch to traditional fundraising. We raised $12 million, and we started work on it. And at that time, and we are one of few Bitcoin projects like I was living and working on stuff. But anyway, that's a fun story. So that's my first like Bitcoin or blockchain project. Later, I moved back to Beijing, and we worked on enterprise blockchain. We trying to apply blockchain into enterprise context, and to create a blockchain-based supply chain finance system, because in China it's very difficult for small and medium enterprise to raise fund or get a loan from bank, because you don't have a lot of credibility, you don't have the collaterals, you are risky, all kind of stuff. So big banks doesn't care about those kind of SME stuff. So what we did is like, okay, if I as a small SME and I work for, we have product, it's sold to Dell, for example. I sell like a mouse to Dell, and Dell can vouch for us, say, hey, maybe like you say, they have all kinds of LU stuff, and the bank can look at the LU and extend the credibility from Dell to us. So the blockchain, by its proof of existence, we can extend that like credit line into supply chain. So that kind of get us going, and we have in half a year, and we got paid customers, and we raised fund and doing stuff in China. However, it's in blockchain. It's I think we can't too early for enterprise at this point. The idea, people are looking for new ideas. This is great idea and great things to do, but the technology wise and the product wise, it's not there yet. So it's kind of difficult to expand into different area, or people adoption is slow. Later on we kind of pivot to the app. So when Ethereum released and is matured enough, so we are looking to new model, for example, like prediction markets. At that time, Augur started released the public white paper in 2014, and keep on work on it, did ICO, all kind of stuff. And in 2017, it's red hot, and they are like Gnosis did an ICO, raised using 5% of its token, raised 250,000 Ether. It's amazing. This prediction market is pretty new in China. As we look at that basically could be huge market in China. So we raised quite a bit of fund and start a Delphi project. It's basically we focus on crypto and sports prediction market in China. We spent the entire 2018 working on this app, and as you know, the World Cup is a huge event in China and around the world as well. So we did a lot of stuff, a lot of experimenting and productization, all kind of stuff, working on the app. But when the cryptocurrency market get cold, then it's really cold, and almost the app world got frozen, So and if you look at the prediction market, it's also a type of market. It's also based on probability. There are a lot of similarity between prediction markets and futures market. So we poking around, we trying to find a better way to make prediction market work. One of them we found is how can we improve the liquidity of the prediction market, and we are looking around the traditional financial systems, in this kind of futures market, and it's good because it provides a standard contracts, and so people can focus on the single market and provide a lot of liquidity. So at the end of the last year and early this year, we said maybe this is the way to go. We can using our current platform. We can adapt to it and create a futures market out of it, and we can have this kind of synergy between futures market and the prediction market, and that could be something we can explore. So we talked to a lot of people, and I think this is kind of new, and so we just get to do. We do it. So after 6 months, and DueDex released, and I think that's pretty cool. That's kind of my crypto resume. I don't know I'm qualified or not, but it is what it is,
No, I mean, you sound extremely qualified. That was a ton of stuff. I'm just going to kind of do a little recap for my audience in case they missed anything. So you were going to grad school, you then went to work for a tech company, and then you started your own company, which you then sold to this other public company. So you've been in tech for a very long time. You then heard about Bitcoin from your friend in 2013. You said the price was around $10 or so. Ethereum comes out, a year or so later, and then you start working on Factom. I'm sure everyone on Twitter and crypto Twitter has heard of Factom. I've seen so many people charting it. And then you kind of pivoted and you wanted to start working on the enterprise blockchain side of things, kind of build solutions for, small to medium-sized businesses. And then eventually that led you to, dApps. And in 2017, dApps were huge. And then, like you said, things kind of froze up. You then pivoted again to the predictions market, or that same time you were doing the predictions market stuff, and that all kind of froze with this bear market that we went through, and then the predictions market and working with that kind of led you to the futures market, and that's where we're at today with DueDex. And so you did already give us some of the features that DueDex has and kind of some of the benefits, A big thing that I do want to talk about is this. I guess marketing's one of the things, but also the tools that you guys are going to use, because I feel like there's a lot of brand loyalty with traders. For example, people who started with Binance are still using Binance today. People that are trading on BitMEX have continued to trade on BitMEX even when these other exchanges have popped up. So can you give us your plan for how you're going to capture your share of the market and kind of steal customers away from these other exchanges?
Right, that's a really really good question, and for me, like crypto exchange, you can characterize it into different two types. One is like a spot exchange, another one is derivative exchange. So for spot exchange in the crypto space, there are thousands of them, and even last year with the downtime, a lot of spot exchanges went broke, and still there are so many of them, and they are almost exactly the same, and I'm very identical to each other. All the stuff you can feel it. So that they are very competitive against each other, and it's kind of saturated, oversaturated. We can say it this way. But for futures exchange, that's a different story. Let me tell you this. If I can say that maybe dozens, maybe like a couple of dozen of like futures exchanges out there. They are totally different. Number one, it's like market size for futures or derivative exchange is like in traditional financial system, it's like 17 times of that of spot market, and so if you look at BitMEX, they've been growing for so long, and when Binance joined like a futures exchange, and you didn't say BitMEX volume goes down, and the volume fluctuates is really because of market condition, not because of competition. So that says like but in crypto space, like a spot exchange, trading volume is bigger than futures exchange. So you see that there's a huge space to go to go. That's number one. Number two, it's like right now there are a lot of spot market traders. They haven't tried out the derivative exchange yet. So there are so many people we can get to. That's why like Binance can be developed so fast, and right now it's like they have trading volume of like 1/3 or maybe 50% of like a BitMEX in such a short period of time. So we talk to a lot of like traders in different markets, like for example in South America, or even in Middle East, or in Africa, or Southeast Asia. There's so many people that never heard of derivatives exchanges. So we would say that the market size is huge, and it's to be explored. And also there are traders could be outside of crypto space. For example, in the stock market trader, or traditional derivative traders, and foreign exchange traders, So there are so many users out there. I would say I don't think it's a red sea. It's blue sea out there actually. So we are confident that this is a good space to be, and there aren't many people really doing good in this space. That's one thing. Another thing is like the technical barrier for futures exchange is much higher. It's much higher. So yesterday I listened to a couple of your podcast. One of them is Bixi, right? So they said that it took them like a couple of years to get the spot exchange done. That's not exactly or not always the same. The case. For example, in China, you can have spot exchange up running in a couple of weeks because it's so standardized now. But you cannot do the same thing for futures exchange because the product it's huge, it's much more complicated. People you have to really good team to master contracts to be able to educate your customers stuff. So the bar is much higher. And also might requires a lot more capital to do that because the cycle to mature, to make a futures exchange mature, it takes much longer. So that's why so there are less futures exchanges in this space at this point. On the other hand, if you look at vertical space, right? So for example, at the end of last year, the user distribution, the BitMEX user distribution is more like this. It's like 9% from US, 8% from China, 7% from Russia, 6% from UK, and 5% from Vietnam. So it's fairly even distributed. It's not being dominated in any single market, single market. And in the meantime, there are users. It's been distributed almost around the world. It's very acceptable to most of users. So you say this is a great thing. There's no single player is dominating in any country, and it's an open competition. Anyone can get in, and maybe if you can dominate in one single space, then you'll be great. You will do great. For example, if you dominate in Brazil or Mexico or Turkey, even if it's a smaller country, you'll do great. In the strategic financial world, for example, in China, we have at least 4 derivative exchanges. Every one of them is huge and is heavily regulated. Even in this case, it's great. It's been developing very fast. So I would say of course there will be competition out there, but this financial model is proving. And you can learn from your competitors, and this market size is huge, and it's fast moving. There's lots of opportunity out there. So we are confident that we'll be one of them, and we also believe that in this world it can allow at least 10 BitMEX to do derivative trading. Just like spot market, you can have at least 10 big guys in the same space, and it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, and we are confident that we should be able to make it.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people forget is that, they see all of these exchanges popping up and, quickly going under. And I think that's due to a little bit of lack on their side, but also the market seems a little bit oversaturated. But in traditional markets, like you're talking about with spot exchanges and then futures exchanges and derivatives exchanges, there are many big players in the traditional markets. And I thought it was pretty interesting that you talked about, in traditional markets, the derivatives exchanges are 17 times the size of spot markets. And it's the opposite in crypto. And I think that might be due to a lack of user experience and kind of education on the user's part. Some people that I talk to, a lot of people that I talk to, just don't understand how to trade it properly. And so they stay away from it completely. And what you guys talked about was the fact that education's key, and that there are these markets that nobody has expanded into, and this even distribution that we've seen so far between, the US, China, Russia, it's kind of evenly split. So your guys' plan, it sounds like, is to penetrate into a couple markets that may not be tapped yet and really, make a stronghold there. And that would be enough to, see success as a derivatives exchange. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing you guys develop. Can you talk to me and my audience about, what you're most excited for in the coming 12 months? I'm sure you guys have a lot in the pipeline. So can you just talk to us about a couple of those things?
Sure. We a few things we would love to try. But one of the things the synergy between prediction market and the futures market. Um, you know, prediction market in traditional sense, it's huge. It's huge. There are companies being listed there are public companies doing like a sports prediction market, and there's huge order. Another thing is like in crypto space. For example, if you think Bitcoin price is going up, and you can use this. You can use this in the prediction market. You can bet up, price up, and however in prediction market it usually doesn't have like leverage, and usually its price is floating. It's very very slowly and depends on different pricing strategy, and you can use this information hedging in the futures market. So it's kind of a synergy. It's more like a prediction market. It's a store in the front, and you can have a derivative markets and in the back hand at the factory. So you realize your profit based on the information you get from prediction markets. So there are a lot of things we can explore. Just that's one thing. Another thing is we were talking about like liberalize the traditional financial system. For example, like in emerging markets like South Africa, and the growing very fast. There could be boom markets in the stock market, and for people from Hong Kong, there's no way for them. I mean, it's very difficult for them to trade those financial assets because of like all kinds of like national boundary stuff. So Bitcoins and cryptocurrency offers this kind of like a perfect solution to do that, we are kind of in the middle of this. So certainly we have to, our lawyer is looking into the thing, and our product is kind of ready. And once we think we were told it's good to go, then we will do that. This is a tremendous opportunity for exchange, because think about it. If the world is flat, if all the assets is available to anyone in the world, and anyone can trade on anything through the same collateralized cryptocurrency, and then everybody can benefit from the growing markets, and you don't have to I win you have to lose, because if the market goes up, then somebody, it's like we can make money out of the market itself. So DueDex can become for example, sourcing the sourcing asset, the digital asset sourcing. So we can find a digital asset which is good, and then people can DueDex users can trade trade the best digital assets. So that's the number two. Another thing we were thinking about, like it's copy trading or something in that regard. In current social media space, there are a lot of people like give away like setups or signals, and they also have all kind of bots to take signals and place order in different exchanges, and some good, some bad. But so the real good ones, they should be able to benefit from this. Right now, the only way to do is like, okay, we can have like paid members. You have to pay to get into this space, to look at this signal stuff. But that's very limited in terms of the profit. If we can create a copy trading mechanism, and the influencer can get a cut from the profit of the copy traders, then they will have more incentive to do this. So I would look at it that's another way to monetize their knowledge, their influence, the marketing, all kind of stuff. So there are a lot of things we can explore. if you look at like if you're trying to open up the entire traditional financial systems, there are so many products and contracts and derivatives of other. And right now, crypto derivatives markets is still in its infancy, and there are so many things we can do, and we feel like as long as people get educated, and we can democratize this crypto futures trading mechanism, and so that more people could get into the space, particularly traditional those stock traders and traditional derivative traders, they can get into it, and they are much more, they are richer, they have more capital, they have more experience. If they can get into this space, and then this is going to be huge.
Yeah. I mean, I really like what you're talking about. That crypto's still young; it's in its infancy. A lot of the traders are inexperienced and don't have the capital that traditional markets do. So it sounds like you guys are trying to bring in a lot of the traders from traditional markets. So you went through a couple things there. You talked about the synergy between prediction markets and future markets. Haven't heard anybody talking about that. So this is something fresh. It's new. And then you also talked about, breaking into and breaking down traditional financial systems and kind of these closed borders that, aren't available to traders in certain countries, which I think will, bring in a ton of capital. It'll allow people to trade freely. And I think that crypto is, this kind of perfect catalyst for that. And then lastly, you talked about copy trading. I've seen it from a couple other exchanges. I was actually just at Crypto Invest Summit, and eToro was launching their copy trading. I think it's a brilliant plan. I looked into their site. I think they do like 2% of assets under management is what the trader who everyone's copy trading gets to keep. And I think that really incentivizes, like you're saying, people to hop on your site. They can say, hey, everybody come follow me, copy trade me. Instead of having to give out these signals, you can just copy trade it. They'll make some money. The trader will make some money. And I think it's a great way to get people on the platform. And it also opens up these inexperienced traders that we see on crypto Twitter who are just kind of, the traditional retail guy who doesn't really know too much. And it allows them to gain access to these much more sophisticated traders, these trading algos. And I think it's a benefit for everybody. So it sounds like you guys have a ton of stuff coming up. I'm very much looking forward to it. Before we finish, can you just give us in your opinion, what your biggest selling point is? The biggest reason people should make the switch. And then secondly, how people can be successful on your platform. I personally think one of them would be education. Like I was saying earlier, I know a lot of people don't trade on BitMEX or Binance futures because they just don't know how. So I think that's a great one, but I want to hear what you have to think.
Yeah, I would say the biggest selling point for us is a team behind DueDex. I would say DueDex team is a team of character. If you look at the derivative markets, what's the revenue stream is. It could be a transaction fees. It could come from market making fees, or you could margin trading, loan, stuff like this. The experience shows that the market making could be the biggest money maker order. So for us, it's like we from get go we say we're trying to be fair. We will not have an internal trading desk. We are going to forego this kind of market making phase stuff. Let the community to do the market making, to be the market making if they will, and outsourcing this market making to independent market maker stuff, and this will make us free of conflict of interest. So to do this, I think we're trying to put the benefits, the interest of our customer above like the interest of DueDex itself. Well, the entire team agree upon this. This is what we want to do, and we are going to do this in the right way. We are not going to do anything like to cut short of users' experience, the users interest. So that's very important to us. That's really important to us. So if you look at it this way, like I would say I would talk to if anyone for influencers or customers, I would say you can be assured that we're not going to treat against you, and because there's no internal trading desk, and this is a worry-free exchange. No backstabbing, no front running, no hidden fees or anything. It's totally transparent. We're trying to put the user's interest really above our own interest. So that's one thing. Another thing is like we feel like DueDex team is a team with a mission and ideals. It's in sync of that, in sync with that of Bitcoin. We're trying to do the right thing to have a goal of liberalizing the existing global financial system. Building a next generation more open and secure financial system, so that like anyone can trade anything out of anywhere, and tear down this financial national boundaries and overcome foreign exchange barriers, something like this. So I would say like this is a team you can trust and you can be associated with. And when you trade with us, when you deposit your tokens in DueDex, you can sleep well. You don't have to worry about like we take anything from you, because we don't even want to make money out of your stuff, let alone do something bad for you. So I would say to our potential customers, come to support DueDex, and together we can make a better world.
Yeah, completely. I think that is absolutely huge. That you talk about the team and the integrity of the team and the mission of the team aligning with Bitcoin. You don't have an internal trading desk like many other exchanges do, and I think that can really put customers' minds at ease. Not knowing what's going on in the background. Is the exchange trading against me? These are all things that people worry about, and the fact that you don't have that internal trading desk and you're allowing the community to be the market makers, it really shows that you guys are trying to find this synergy between exchange and customer, where they can benefit from all of these things, and then in turn you guys benefit, of course, because you have users using your exchange. So I really appreciate that. Before we go, is there anything for my audience, when they sign up? Because I know a lot of people, they like to be incentivized. Do you guys have any sort of incentive program for signing up with DueDex? Some sort of get some cash for signing up?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we have a affiliate program, one of the best, and we can have a special sign up for you, Charles. So if you can create a affiliate link, and we can give you some special, for example, for people coming over from you, sign up, they can get a $10 of signing bonus, and they can deposit, for example, like a 0.1 BTC, they can get $50. If you deposit 0.2, they can get $100. So they can get up to $110 if they sign up through your affiliate link. Just go to DueDex.com, and you can or click the affiliate link from you.
Perfect. I really appreciate you extending that offer. And for anyone who's listening, like you were saying, it's 0.2 Bitcoin. You'll get $110 extra to trade. I really appreciate that. So quick question, because I was looking through your guys' terms of service. Is there any plans to expand into the U.S.?
Technically, basically it's like US is a little bit different. Right now it's like we indeterminate in our TOS should basically say we need to exclude US, and right now we are in process of developing geofencing to do this, but at this point it's not up running, so it's people from US they can sign up and do trading out there, and eventually we will follow big guys step like the BitMEX, what BitMEX doing, and we're going to do the same thing.
Perfect. There we go. So be on the lookout for that. Unfortunately, there's those pesky regulations that we have to deal with in the U.S. But I'll have a link for all my non-U.S. followers if they want to check the site out. It'll be in the description. We'll have a link to your Twitter as well if they want to get in contact with you, ask you any questions. I hope that you're available. So again,
I'm available all the time.
Perfect.
I'm available all the time.
Yeah, like you were saying, that kind of integrity of the team and your guys' willingness to work with your customers is really showing here. Right. I just want to thank you for coming on. It sounds like you guys are bringing, a fresh new perspective and a change to the crypto derivatives markets. So I really appreciate you taking the time. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about before we go?
We'll encourage crypto community to support us, and I think we are good guys, and we are little guys right now, and we hope with your support we can grow faster, and we can bring more benefits and help liberalize the to build next generation of financial system so that every one of us can benefit from it. So come to support us. And Charles, thank you so much for your opportunity, and I hope in the future we can do better and come back and give you more support.
Yeah, would love an update once you guys really ramp things up, which I know you guys will. So I'm looking forward to that future call. And again, thank you so much for coming on.
Okay, thank you.
All right, guys, that wraps up another episode of the Crypto Entrepreneurs Podcast. I just want to say thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. The show's for you guys. I make it for you guys. And it wouldn't happen without you guys. So I really do want to thank you for that. And if you found anything in this episode helpful or any of the previous episodes that I've put out, can you just do me a huge favor and leave us a review? It would really help us out. And then on top of that, could you also share it with any friends, family, anyone on social media? If there's something that spoke to you in any of these episodes, I would really appreciate it if you could do that for us. So thanks again for listening, and hope to see you next episode.